Hi, I'm Mike Ryan. In our blog on Turquoise in America, we've covered a lot of ground about a lot of issues about turquoise. We've looked at many of the famous turquoise mines. We've looked at grading. We've looked at identification. And today I thought, why not look at some of the turquoise books that have been available throughout history? And there aren't that many. When I was doing research for Turquoise in America Part 1 and Part 2, one of the difficulties that Philip and I had was the lack of secondary sources about turquoise. Surprisingly, there just weren't that many books that had been written about turquoise history. There were quite a few that had been written about Indian jewelry involving turquoise, but not that many specifically about turquoise. So I thought, well, let's take a look at a few of those books that do cover turquoise. So we're going to start with the classic one, and that is the Turquoise, which was written by Joseph Pogue, published in 1915. This is the original copy. And I got this from a rare book dealer in New York whose father had succeeded Joseph Pogue as the head of the petroleum department at Chase Manhattan Bank. And that's where Pogue had worked for many years because he was a petroleum geologist. And this was in his father's collection, and he certainly had bought it probably from Pogue. And that would have been, I think, sometime late 40s or so when Pogue retired from that position. So this is a really special book for me. Now, most of us are more familiar with this version, which was published by Rio Grande Press beginning in 1972. This particular copy, it's listed as the second edition. It's the a Rio Grande Classic, first published in 1915, second printing 1972. And this was right at the start of the turquoise boom in the 70s. This would come out very quickly in 6 printings over the course of 3 or 4 years. And it's interesting, this book, it was printed by a company that printed high school yearbooks. And I think many of you will recognize the look of your own high school yearbook from the cover here of the turquoise in this. And this was noted because of the famous foreword, the introduction by Rex Aerosmith. And they also added a glossary of mines. So again, this is the one that most people have been most familiar with about the turquoise. And Pogue really, it's a monograph. It covers turquoise around the world. It covers a little bit about everything, and really a very important book about turquoise. For a lot of people, their first encounter with a turquoise book may have been by Oscar Branson, who was a dealer, an art dealer here in Santa Fe, and he published this gem of the centuries. And this was published, let me see here, 1975. And here we have this cover of the Indian jeweler using the hand drill on the beads. This was really known for lots of beautiful photos about turquoise. Of course, in 75, they didn't have the same printing techniques and color techniques that we have now. But really, Branson did a wonderful job of making turquoise well known among the population, general population. Very important book. We have another book that's been very important. This is the updated edition, Turquoise, The World Story of a Fascinating Gemstone, by Joe Dan Lowry and his father, Joe P. Lowry. And of course, the Lowrys are very well known for running the Turquoise Museum in Albuquerque. And that really is showcasing the collection of Zach Zachary, who was the father of Joe P. Lowry's wife, and that would be Joe Dan Lowry's grandfather. So really important. This book is sort of a soup to nuts encyclopedia of turquoise, and a very important part of your turquoise book collection. Bob Brusha, who many know from the Nevada Gem Collection and his website, many of us have bought turquoise from Bob. Bob says that a lot of these books, there were too many words for him, and he wanted one with just a lot of pretty pictures. Well, he really succeeded when he contracted with Annie Osborne and published Jewel of the Southwest, turquoise. And this was the turquoise from his collection. And I mean, just magnificent, magnificent photos included in this book. Now, this book is out of print. If you can find it, get one, because if you look on Amazon and you see the prices that are being asked there, you might be surprised at how expensive this book really is right now. But very, very important book. When Philip and I were doing Turquoise in America Part 1, The Great American Turquoise Rush, we really relied a great deal on Philip's research that he had done on the old mines. But one book that was out that was a tremendous resource for us was by Patricia McGraw. And this is the Tiffany Blue, which were the letters that she found of her, I believe it's her great-grandfather, I may be wrong, I believe it's her great-grandfather, Pat McNulty, who was the superintendent at the Cerrillos mine, the so-called Tiffany mine at Turquoise Hill in Cerrillos, working for the American Turquoise Company. And this man is a very important part of turquoise, the history of turquoise in America. This is a wonderful book. Of course, when you're reading letters, you kind of gotta slog through it and read through it, but once you get into the flow, it's really wonderful primary history of that period, and it's a highly recommended book. Then, of course, we have my personal favorites. Turquoise in America Part 1, The Great American Turquoise Rush, with which I hope many of you are already familiar with, and Turquoise in America Part 2, which covers the period from 1910 to 1990. And I am pleased to say that I am working on Turquoise in America Part 3, which will cover the period from 1990 to 2020. So, I really couldn't leave our discussion about well-known turquoise books without mentioning Barbie, The Turquoise Trail Mysteries. Now, I'm sure many of you have read this. It's such an exciting mystery. While modeling in New Mexico, Barbie makes a new friend named Rosa. Soon they discover clues on a mysterious painting, leading them on a search through the desert. When it ends, Rosa and her family get back more than they ever dreamed of. Wow. I mean, if Barbie isn't an American icon, I don't know what is. And here we see Barbie and her new friend Rosa, who's from a local pueblo of Santa Fe, them wearing their beautiful turquoise necklace. So if there's anything that would indicate how important turquoise has been in the popular culture of the United States and its fashion and the importance of turquoise culturally, I think the presence of a Barbie book sure does it. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing just some of these books about turquoise. And I hope you have taken advantage of reading Turquoise in America Part 1 and Turquoise in America Part 2. And I hope you are looking forward as much as I am to Turquoise in America Part 3.